Victor, come on up, please, brother.
Hi, friends and family. What a beautiful, beautiful day made possible by all of us together. Yeah, thanks also to those that love the family and will do anything for their families. And I just have a question for the three gentlemen that are left. In my brief foray into AA, what do you think of, this is just my feeling, but that slogan that says keep an open mind, I think personally that that's the absolute top slogan of all time, but I may be wrong. Any comments?
Anybody?
Thought I saw Jimmy unmuting.
No, I'm just getting unmuted.
Okay.
I'm keeping an open mind.
All right. John, you're moving your mouth, but I couldn't hear you, John. Is your volume on? I can't hear you. No, can't hear you. Ralph?
Well, Victor, I think it's tied with top slogans.
All right, thank you, Victor. Bob B, come on up, please.
Hi, Bob, alcoholic. Thank you for such an incredible day. I appreciate the service for all the people that put this on and for getting the great speakers, a great lineup. And this is for everyone. If everyone could touch on it, I'd appreciate it. But how do you, years after your last drink, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it alive? How do you keep your obvious enthusiasm for the program alive each and every day? It's so easy for program to get stale and to get hard. How do you keep that, keep saying yes, keep doing the deal, keep that enthusiasm, which is crucial for recovery? But I would appreciate any tips you have, whether it's switching a program or different prayer stuff, or just doing the 12-step stuff. But I definitely would appreciate it because I'm struggling a little bit right now. So I would appreciate an answer. Thank you.
Don't all jump in that once. John, it's something with your microphone, but I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Try now. No, I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Jimmy, Ralph, anything on that one?
Well, because I was so interested in listening to John, I was just hanging on to waiting on him. So I mean, everybody's got an answer for that one, Bob. And the thing about it is, because I get so concerned with how I think it looks, and this ain't it ain't always a feel better program, it's a get better program. There are many times when you say enthusiastic and fresh, when I'm by myself, I don't have it. I'm a lot better with you. I'm 100% better with you guys. That's why you have trained feet. One of the reasons I have trained feet is I don't turn down commitments. And once I show up, I've never regretted showing up. I've never regretted it. Before showing up, I've often thought, damn, my God, why did I make this? Why did I say yes? I've never regretted it. That's number one. And for anybody that's new and that's going to be in it for the long haul, one of the other reasons, and Jimmy is a great example of that, much better than me. That's one of the reasons we get commitments. My commitments will ground me. They will ground me in spite of me. I need some defaults positions. And one of my defaults, I got to show up on Sunday morning. I got to show up on Thursday night. I got to show. So there are things that are done in spite of me. I'm not the most virtuous guy, but you guys work on me in spite of me.
Thanks, Rob.
Jim.
And I was thinking, as active as it looks like I am, there are those times when there's valleys where I don't want to do anything, and but then you get the phone call from the new guy, and then you get called to go on a commitment. Then we need a committee going over here, and all of a sudden you're right back in the game again. And it's like, and I think that's kind of normal. That even if you had the best job in the world, I think we go through valleys. All right, so I've just been very fortunate that, and I have a passion for recovery and AA. Coming up on 35 years. That I just. I've always been one of those make things happen type of guys. I mean, I do events here in New Jersey. Ralph's been here a million times. We do a big roundup retreat. On the service level, I'm the area delegate. I'm getting ready for the General Service Conference. I had a meet right before this meeting today with all the vice delegates and talk about what we're presenting to the area. I mean, on and on and on. But I remember Tom Iverster saying something. Tom I said something. You should always have a commitment to somewhere where you never want to wind up. So take a commitment to a prison, take a commitment to a treatment center, take a commitment to, a detox, get on a committee, join something, be involved. And the old timers used to say, Jimmy, AA is a lot bigger than your neighborhood. Make sure you get over the fences and experience Alcoholics Anonymous as a whole, not just your little 3 meetings in your town type of thing, and so with all that knowledge, I've just been, when I hit a wall a little bit, which, we all do, well, you know what, I call my sponsor, I call Ralph, I call Peter, I call up other people, and, before you know it, we're doing something else. I mean, but I think it's natural to feel sometimes just flatline a little bit.
Thank you, Bob, for the question. John, you want to try one more time just to see if we got your voice, please? Would you say something? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, that's okay. Sorry about that. Bonita, come on up, please.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Bonita and I am an alcoholic. Thank you so much for this. And I got so much from each and every one of you. Teresa, I see that you might be in the hospital. My prayers are with you, sister. I wanted to say to my delegate, who is Jimmy? I didn't know you were trying to be a soprano, but that's cool. I ain't messing with you. That's all I can tell you. Living in South Jersey, and you're excellent in what you do. You underplaying how you present, and it's a talent to be able to in each one of your categories to be able to sit back and listen and shut up, right? And be able to offer some direction. And that's what I get. So I'm the GSR at Brick Church. I am in your area. And I tell you, I've heard of you, Ralph and John. Ralph, your mom, 90. God bless her. God bless her. Go give her a kiss for me. And John, you had me in tears. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Bonita. Looks like we lost Teresa there. Dorothy, come on up, please. One second. Here you go.
Hi, hello everybody. Hello, Ralph. What made me jump on just then is I was mopping my floor really. And then when they were talking about an open mind, and since Ralph mentioned John Davis, I would have thought, you would have jumped in with contempt prior to investigation. And he used to say that all the time. And that's how, and it hit me because when I was sitting at 9604, and John Davis used to always talk about contempt prior to investigation. That just opened my mind up. And for you that don't know where that is in the spiritual experience in the back of the book. And another thing that touched me just now is how do you stay active and loving in Alcoholics Anonymous? For me, it's gratitude. To really understand in my gut, intuitively know in my gut that if I was to drink again, I wouldn't even have the life that I have to be able to say, well, I'm bored in Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, when I was bored in Alcoholics Anonymous, like you guys have already said, find things to do. Get active in Alcoholics Anonymous, or get active in your community, or call your family on the phone and be nice to them. It took me a long time to be nice to my family. I knew Ralph's brothers and all them, but it took a long time. So I just, when he said open mind, and that's the first thing that popped in my head, is contempt prior to investigation. So thank you guys all for sharing. Thank you, Teresa, for sharing. I pray for your mother. And you guys are so great. I mean, you guys are so blessed to still have your parents at this time and age. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So Teresa is back on. We got Teresa, Ralph, and Jimmy. Unfortunately, we don't have John Sound. Alisa, we would love your questions, please. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Alicia and I am an addict and alcoholic, and excuse me, I came in my kitchen to start cooking. I want to thank you all for helping me stay clean and sober today. I've been around this program for 20 years. Longest time of sobriety I've had is 4 years. And then 3 years, and then a couple of times 1 year. I've been a sponsor. I've been through the steps multiple times, and I've been called a big book thumper myself. I was so moved today by each and every one of you, your shares. Teresa, I prayed for you. And my question is, because today I have 5 things back, and ever since the pandemic came, I can't seem to get it together. I'm one of those people that dress it up on the outside, but inside I'm dying. And I think Jimmy talked about sitting and being in the rooms and not feeling well, not doing well in his insides. And then John just hit it home with the spirituality part. And I go to church, you know, but I'm wondering if I have a relationship with God. And then Ralph I don't have words for Ralph. And I don't have words for Teresa and what they did to me. So if you guys can just kind of talk to me so that I can stay. I'm so tired of, I call it attempted suicide, because that's what I do. I go out and I attempt suicide to the point where none of my children are talking to me, and I'm not even in the lives of my grandchildren right now. I have a sponsor, and she says that it's just best now to work and focus on me and my recovery. But I'm at a point where I just don't know what to do. So anything any of you can share, I'll be grateful for. Thank you.
Teresa, you want to go first?
Oh, am I unmuted? Hi, Teresa, alcoholic. I was thinking about the question. I'd say it's kind of loaded, loaded question, because what you should do is what we all do. I mean, that's the simple thing, right? The simple thing is that we trust God, clean house, and be of service. I think what always requires me to do anything of the program is the mustard seed of willingness and taking the action. I just try to keep it that simple, right? What is it? The fact that we have the wherewithal to know that something is off, I think that's a blessing to see that. You know, some people tell me, I think I'm disconnected from the program and God. I'm like, the fact that you notice it, that means you're not disconnected yet. I don't know about you. When I'm completely disconnected, I'm disconnected. So I would just invite you to take that mustard seed of willingness for you to even answer the question and just start taking the action, because that's what I do. There's times I don't want to do anything, or my insides aren't right. What changes that? The action. And I could start my day over at any time. I could do it right now. I don't have to talk about it, think about it. I just start doing it. So that's just been my experience. I just start doing it. I don't know if I should mute. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I got going on. And wait, you're being here for me because right now mommy's in surgery and I'm like a nutcase right now. So you guys are distracting me.
Jimmy, are you getting ready to talk?
Well, I was thinking about what our sponsor says, Ralph, and you can correct me if I say it wrong, but he always likes to say that, we might be unique, but our illness is not unique. And, so you're no different than anyone on this call right now. And, that first step onto the path of willingness has to be with no bat in your hands or beating yourself up about what you've done the last 20 years. That's for sure. Because spirituality and self-loathing those highways never cross. So the first thing is, take it easy on yourself. I mean, obviously, but more importantly, this is about a nosedive right back into the plan of action that we have and to get back on this path, and how do you do that? Well, maybe you need a new sponsor. Maybe you need a little, a new point of view. Maybe, I don't know what you need. I just know that what we do here is available to you because your illness is not unique. And you could spin it, you could do whatever you want to say, well, my circumstance, well, I think we've heard a lot of different types of circumstances today, and we've all stayed sober through hard things and adversity, because we're all gonna hit adversity no matter what. Whether your kids walk away or whether you have illness or whether someone dies in your family, we've all hit that. But the good news is this, the evidence is all around us of people who have walked through that stuff with their head held high. And they kept on moving one foot at a further. That doesn't mean that it's not painful circumstances and it's not painful certain things that go on in life. It just means that I got to keep walking and putting one foot in front of the other. And, with the help of a lot of people on here and friendships and a network of people and a sponsor, that's attainable for anyone. You just got to be willing.
It's a lot of hands up too, so I'm gonna be really brief. I'm gonna say a couple of things, Alicia. One, you got to bring one thing to the table that nobody else can bring. Not any of the people on here. That's willingness. That's desire. Well, Ralph, I think I have willingness. How come it don't seem like I don't know what bring on willingness except a well-whooped ass? Can nobody decide that one for you? So that one is that's one. Number two, keep the main thing the main thing. There's a guy at Crenshaw Lotto that always says that. Keep the main thing the main thing. Now, you've heard us talking about the treasure and the rest of that, and it'll sound like, and people will say, my drinking is 5%. The rest of my alcohol is not. When I'm drinking, it's 100%. It's 100%. So all this stuff you heard us sharing about, I got one job in these early days. Don't pick up. There's grace that will take me to when I get into this. There's grace. It's got an expiration and we don't know when that is. But it's one thing I got to bring to the table. That's desire. Keep the main thing the main thing. I'm hearing you talk about church, the kid. I ain't knocking none of that. Keep the main thing the main thing. And the last thing I'm going to say, and then I see we got a bunch of other hands, is, it feels like I've tried this before. That can be the biggest handicap. We not new, we not shiny, we not. So I'm jaded. People are telling me welcome. I'm like, don't be welcoming me. I was here when you got here. You led off with, I've been around for 20 years. That's an impediment. That's an impediment. Put it to the side. There are some people that are on this thing that have come back to us. And the one thing they have in common, and I know, and Teresa, in our community, we got a lot of them. And my younger brother, Reggie, is one, and he's on fire. And the one thing that Reggie brought back this last time was he never was referring to, I had all this. No, I'm new. I want a new experience. And the reason for that is the humility. The humility. Because when I come back, I can't make myself new again. That's a hard one. So the humility and keeping the main thing, that's the stuff I will put out front.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, guys. Mr. Ronald White, come on up, brother.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ronald White. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you, Ali, and all the crew for putting this on, and for all of those who put on today, John, Ralph, Jimmy, Teresa, my girl Polly. I was in and out today because I spent Saturday doing a lot of sponsee work and fifth step today and stuff. So I got bits and pieces of all you guys because I've heard all of you before. And one of the sponsees I was talking to today was telling me this phenomenon that she's one of the most grounded people I know, and she's really doing the thing or whatever, but she says that she feels this suffering from comparison sometimes, that it looks like everybody else is got it going on and got it together and all that. And even in Alcoholics Anonymous, I can feel less than, right? Because of the success stories that we share and all that stuff. And all you guys, you get, obviously, you're the great communicators of the fellowship. You're right here. You're giving it to us. It looked like y'all all got it together. Now, I happen to know the background of you guys, so I kind of know that it's not always like that. Right, T? So, Jimmy, I know some of the background. So what I want to know is, how when you communicate, when you share, how can you do this balance of letting our newcomers know that you're like them? That I know you want to put out a lot of information and stuff, but how do you share enough of your experience to let them know, hey, look, I'm not different than you, and all the stuff that I'm doing right now, I let the question just sit there and let you answer it, because I think all of you know kind of like what I'm getting at. And so I'll just shut up right there, and I'll see what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for what you give to the fellowship.
Jimmy, why are you looking like deer in the headlights?
I'm praying that John's microphone goes on.
I was praying the same thing. I'm like, where's John's microphone? When I first got sober, what I appreciated was that nobody made this really pretty. So I heard people when I was new really raw about their life. And that taught me that I saved my ass, not my face, that this is the one place that I could just come and be. So I don't know if I get into because I can get jealous too, even with 31 years where everybody's saying they got everything. That's why I was talking about the treasure map being sobriety, because everything that I gained from sobriety, I believe is a byproduct. Because I could want a house, a family, like listening to people, you know what I mean? They get a family back, they get their house, and then that doesn't happen for me. And I feel like something's wrong. So what I got from most people when I was sober was that they were living life sober through the good and the bad. And they shared both of them. And so I look forward to the beauty of the things beyond your wildest dreams. And then I heard them go through sobriety through some difficult times or things not happening for them. So I got so around people who are very transparent about each and every day, not putting on a face of something else. And what that did was help me to appreciate my own experience. That whatever I was going through in sobriety, it was okay. There was no race. There was nothing I've heard some people say, I only have 3 years or I only have 60 days. I'm like, please remove the word only, because it's as though we're in competition. We all got one day. And thank God we're not all crazy at the same time. We do this one day at a time and we share our experiences with each other. So that's what helped me for the newcomer. Hopefully the one thing that I hope that you walk away with my experience is what it was like, because that's the message of depth and weight. That to me is what gives the propeller to be willing to build a relationship with this power, to have your own experience of what it's like now, because it's different for everybody. So I believe that's what's most important, is what it was like, that we identify. You drank like me, you felt like me, you did what I did. So maybe this program can work for me too. So that's what it was like for me.
Allie, can you hear me now?
Yeah, John,
Yes.
please go ahead. Beautiful.
No, I'm just checking in. I don't want to miss it.
All right. Okay, whenever you move, Ralph, would you come on up, please, if you like?
Yeah, that one is a general question. I think the people today really, Ronnie, for asking your question, I think if there was a demonstration for the speakers today, because that's a general question. But I think if you were listening to Teresa today, you saw the answer to what your question was. You know, Teresa was like right in what's going on right now. T is normally just so unflappable too that it kind of throws me sometime when I get those calls when she allows herself to just break, you know, because T is like a rock to me too. So, but today everybody was here. Jimmy, in Jimmy's talk, Jimmy also shared some of the low spots and and I always try to do that. But I also think it's about, I think that unlike I think that if I sit up, sometimes people do this kind of false modesty too. If you got up before me, you got as much surprise. No, why then should we be doing this ego reducing series of exercises we've been doing for 30? Why have we been training our feet if it don't result in something? So at 35 years, I don't look the same as I look 35 days. And that's important. I assume the position and I step into my assignment. I always hear people saying, and we were raised to be respectful of new old timers. So we always talk about it, but we're old timers. And I assume the position. You know, I step into the assignment and I should look different. By the same token, here's the balance though. Just because I look different, don't mean I'm not still challenged, but I can respond to challenges differently. And that's the other thing that I think should come out. That, yeah, you know, I get heartbreak. I get money problems. I get frustrated. And there's everybody, and I'll share them freely. But I would assume that the 35-year-old Ralph sharing of those things is a bit different than the 35-day Ralph, even though I was really optimistic then and I really had a lot of just acquisition there. But I think that's the balance. Some speakers, to go to your point of your sponsee, I think there are some people that can make it seem like I need this program of recovery, do it or die, but it's kind of like out there and it's unattainable. I think the panel that's here today, especially, don't make it seem like that. You know, I think we need to make it attractive and available. You know, and so that to me is always the deal. Jimmy?
Well, let's go to the next question, Ali.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you, brother, for your question. Next question, Rob, New York. Now we got all 4 panelists, so we're excited to hear John. Rob,
thanks, Ali. Rob Griffin, alcoholic by the grace of God, sober today. Thank you all so much for a beautiful day. Very inspiring, as always. My question is this. There is such deep admiration for each and every one of you, such love and affection. How do you all keep your egos in check? I mean, you're like at Madison Square Garden, where I'm from, New York, like being a rock star. 20,000 people clapping for you. How do you keep your ego in check? And has it changed over the years?
Well, let me chime in here. I just enjoyed being on this panel, by the way. And don't assume that I have my ego in check. It's a balancing act every day that the ego can run riot, and it does in me. To convey to you that I have this under control would be a lie. What I have, though, is tools that allow me, that recognize when my ego is out of whack. See, often we say ego's a problem, ego's the enemy. But let's face it, friends, we wouldn't have an ego if it wasn't necessary in nature. So it's not about getting rid of the ego, it's about managing it. And how do I manage it is through the grace of God and the power of recognizing it when it shows up. And I think as I continue to grow in this area, in which I am still growing, by the way, I begin to able to go to my God and ask it to remove it quickly so I can fulfill the will at the moment. Even that can be ego filtered. See, I have no protection against my ego, but what I do have is a higher power that is continually providing the kind of grace that will allow me to keep this ego in check.
I want to answer that by an experience that I had. I was in Canada and there was a girl who wanted to meet me. I was out there to speak and she was trembling and she was crying. She had been listening to my CD and I was kind of weirded out by that. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like a very celebrity-ish thing, right? And she was crying and it was an interesting experience. And I was like, oh my God, this is like intense, right? I could take this to a whole other level, right? Like I'm all that in a bag of chips. But right after that conference, I was somewhere else where June G was speaking and I was too. And then when she got there, I was like this little rock star, like a groupie, right? And I was like, oh my God, it's June G. And I was just kept smiling out. I was acting silly. And then we were leaving together to go back to California. And I was at the gate with her and I went, oh, I'm doing what you did for me. It occurred to me, women like June G, JoJo, Miss Iona, it's a message of this depth and weight that I want what they have. And I looked at these women when I was new in awe. And not that they were this thing, I don't know how to explain it. I was like, oh, it's attraction. And so what I'm grateful for, every time someone comes to me and says, thank you, or I heard you, or you changed my life, I see the faces of JoJo and I still cry when I think about it. I see their faces because it's like, I'm doing what they did for me and I'm giving back what was so freely given to me. And I don't know if that keeps me right size, but it certainly helps me to put it all in perspective among other things that everybody will be sharing. But that was just one thing that came to me, that's what we do around here. Only you and I can do that. Only you and I can capture the attention to another alcoholic like no one other. And what a blessing that is. And I try to keep it to that. So thank you.
Yeah, my wife just yelled up, when you come down, take the garbage out. So there's your spotlight guy. You know, that's what you have to love old timers for, you know, because they'll keep you grounded, that's for sure. Like they care less than, you know, you're out speaking somewhere or you're going somewhere. And I'm sure Ralph, Teresa, and John will tell you, not every talk is a home run, that's for sure. I have bombed a few times and boy, you just want to put your head in the sand sometimes. But again, that's an attachment to what I think I should sound like and all that other stuff, right? So, you know, an old timer around here, my wife just came from his birthday party. He's 54 years old. We used to say it all the time, stay small, squirt. And, you know, stay small. And by doing so, I'm getting a lot of back feed here. That's why I'm like looking around. Yeah, I was getting a lot of back feed there. I'm sorry. So, you know, this whole idea of you're the spot, I don't know. I don't, you know, not everyone's going to be a speaker. Not everyone's going to be a delegate. Not everyone's going to be doing certain, we all have our gifts. It's important to find our gifts and to just expound on those gifts, you know, and just, you know, we get to do this. It's not like we're, you know, any bigger than anyone else. We're all drunks, really. It's a privilege to be asked to speak. It's a real honor to be, to do the service work I do. I mean, and I just try to keep that, you know, in that box. I mean, it's that simple. I try not to make it bigger than I am because it's only through the grace of God I get to do this stuff. And I try to remind myself of that.
I must be really brief about Rob. That's a good question. And a lot of the people that you talk about, like in here, and haven't had the opportunity to travel with a bunch of the people we see all the time, including people we don't see, Tom I, Sandy Beach, Clancy, And I got the opportunity to know them up close and personal. My sponsor, who's still alive now. And the one thing, Rob, surprisingly, that most of the people in AA, and I heard about Chuck C, and seemed like everybody knew. I'm like, how did all y'all go in his room and stuff? The one thing I think that is the staying power of most people, and I'm not claiming that for myself, is that in Alcoholics Anonymous, we're a fellowship full of con men, con artists, bullshit artists. We sniff it. And I think that one of the reasons why the people who constantly go out are people that, because we'll peep it. We will see that. I don't think it's a mistake that all, and I'm good friends with many of them. And there are some people that ego can get, yeah, there are some people, speaking for myself, don't read your own press clippings. And the other thing that'll help you is be in a home group and be in a house. A home group, T will tell you, they don't see you the same way that the rest of you guys see. At home, they don't, you ain't, take the trash, you at home, in fact, it's so that'll keep you grounded. Make sure you got a home group. And then be in a house. I got brothers that's on the program. I got a house. Trust me, he ain't Mr. that into the house. And that's a good thing for me, including my daughters. You know, they y'all are impressed with him. Guess we know him. And that's the practical part of it.
Thank you, Rob, for your question. And we're almost at time. We're going to take the last hand up. Mr. Gregory M., come on up, please.
Yes, hello, everybody. Good to see you all. And most importantly, it's really good to be amongst the land of the living. I want to thank you all, man, for your marvelous share. And my condolences to you, Teresa. Please keep your head up. And my question actually is based on our 12 step. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Question is, does that spiritual awakening come by way of the completing of the 12 steps, or do it come by way of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? What was that like for you? Or when does the spiritual awakening come? 12 or somewhere in between the 12? Anybody?
Anybody want to take that?
Oh, I thought I saw John telling to talk.
Well, yeah, you know, I was cut off the sound for a reason. You know that. It's just God speaking something to me. And thank you for that. Here's the way I would like to answer or respond to the question. We have learned in AA there are kind of two types of spiritual awakening: a sudden example that Bill Wilson had in the hospital, where it was immediate, where he had a transformation immediately. And he had the confidence from God that he would go out and help other alcoholics. So that was immediate. For most of us, is what William James called the educational variety. We don't plan when we're going to have a spiritual awakening. As my soon-to-be good friend Ralph says, it happens to us. We don't make it happen. And I couldn't agree with him more than that statement. When we're available, when we're ready, when we've surrendered, whether it's in step 1 or step 3 or 5 or 11 or 12, we will have a process called the spiritual awakening. Now, is there going to be one? No, it's not. There's going to be many. There's going to be many, and don't miss it, because what we'll see is it's like the Buddhists say about wiping a mirror. You begin to see clearly what life is really like and what it can be like, rather than behind an illusion of what we don't know or what we think is happening and we don't know. So, and it's very individualistic too, by the way, Giga. I can't speak for when you're going to have one. I can't even begin to talk about it. You're going to have them when you have them, and they're going to be meaningful to you, and you're going to share them with us. And we're going to say, wow, I want that too. How'd you get it? What happened? And you're going to say, I don't know. If you're honest, I don't know. I was just available. So God bless you if you're giving the question. Thank you.
I would say ditto to that. The thing of Gregory, but even in Alcoholics Anonymous, it's murky and I'm not gonna say dangerous, but it is so spiritually arrogant to think that I can even start meddling around in that spiritual experience and spiritual. We have something we do that's a roadmap for us. But trust me, God's universe is that area right there. When people get awakened to grace, or that one. So what we believe, for anybody that's new, that answers to is, if you do what we do and take these 12 steps as outlined, you will have an awakened spirit. That's what we believe in Alcoholics Anonymous. We also don't have a belief about what happens along the way and when. There are people who, and I have friends similar to like Bill, had awake very early. I mean, had experiences that were profound and have had a lot of them scattered. T, who just went off the screen, is a person for me just to vicariously get to share, this journey all these years has, just as a remarkable spiritual walk to me. And I have had many times looking back, not a lot of times I don't appreciate them when they happen. Sometimes I do now. I'm more awake to awakening. But some of the time I've looked back and said, wow, God was in that moment. Howard P. used to say, anytime, wherever you see God, mark that spot and visit it often.
Jimmy, did you want to take a crack at that, brother?
The old thought was, after the 9th step, you step into the sunlight of the spirit and you have a spiritual awakening. And then it's after the 12th step. No, it's after you do that 5th step. No, it's after you do that, you get off your knees in the 3rd step. And
yes,
I think it started for me when I was willing to be outside that house and to get in the car with a bunch of strangers. And that's when my spiritual experience started. And as the years have gone on, and as the process of the 12 steps and the process of service and the process of sponsorship and the process of everything we do in here, something happens to me. Ralph said it earlier, I think maybe in his talk or one of the questions. We feel, we do, we believe on what we couldn't do on our own unaided strength at one time. But somewhere along the lines, that has happened for me. I can't tell you the day, I can't tell you the moment. I don't know if it was the pot of coffee I was making in home group that day, or the chairs I was putting down, or buying a big book for a newcomer. I don't know what that day was. I just know I got in the car, and when I got in the car, my life changed. It's that simple, And I love that line, but Howard used to say, "When you find God, mark that spot, and go visit and go back there again. Visit that spot again." Love that. Thank you.
Teresa, did you want to close us off?
I forgot I was participating because I was just listening. I was a spectator just now. I was like, yeah, that's good. I'd say ditto to everybody. If I take it, the practicality of it, right? In the literal sense, it's in step 12. That's what it says, right? And in a way, in step 12, they tell me that's what just happened to me. They don't even ask me if I had a spiritual awakening. They say haven't had. So I remember when I got there, I was like, oh snap, I just had one. They were like, yeah, you just had one. So now what you got to do, since you just had one, is you got to go help other people. And so that's just the practical about it, is at step 12, I've had one and now I got to go help others. But I agree with everybody else. I only find out in hindsight, right? I don't have too many of those moments when I'm in it and it's a aha, oh my God, I'm having a spiritual experience. It's usually later that I'm like, oh, that's what that was. And I also think about, if I go looking for it that way, I might miss it. If I'm in the present moment, I have the experience. I always think about like meditating. Sometimes some people meditate. I don't know if you've experienced that. You start doing a meditation and breathing, and it's like a kaleidoscope. And you start seeing this light open up, and then you go, what is that? And then you miss it. It like stops. So to me, spiritual experience is exactly that. It's an experience. There's no race, no deadline, if the marker is after. And that's why I have to mark it after I see it so I can go back to it. So I don't kind of go looking. I need to have a spiritual experience today. I'm just going to have an experience and I'll find out that it was spiritual. Thank you.